My colleague Samarth Srivastav is on the Purvanchal Expressway where this horrific accident happened. Samarth, one has to be very sensitive right now as we report this, because those four people in that car, whatever they were doing, they are no longer on this earth. They were gone in a second, driving at nearly 240 kilometers per hour, and death must have come very quickly. But it is a sad loss for their families. It was just a few minutes of bravado and recklessness on the roads that has led to this horrible tragedy for four families in Sasaram in Bihar. But it's a story that is also a cautionary tale for everyone else in this country thinking about driving rashly, having fun, live streaming, drinking in the car. Do we know anything apart from that video, Samarth? We can see beer cans in there. Has a post-mortem been conducted? Has the police been able to say anything else about this accident?
Well, exactly, Shiv. That's a very tragic incident that took place 2 days back, and it's a cautionary tale for all of us. We drive on expressways, and sometimes we have to be in control when there is the speedometer gets high, because 100 km per hour, that's the decent and ideal note for any driver to drive on expressway. And I must tell you, first I'll try ask my cameraman to show you the visuals out here. This is that particular Purvanchal Expressway from where India Today TV is reporting, because this is one expressway where the incident took place, though it happened around Sultanpur district. But what is necessary, because few days back, due to heavy rain, a patch of road in this particular expressway was damaged, and then the route of one way was diverted to another. But when the road work, the construction work was, the repairing work was completed, then also the route was not went back to the normal. And that was one of the reasons, though they were riding on a high speed around 230 km per hour. But that was also one of the reasons, because it was a head-on collision, I must tell you. Truck container coming from Lucknow, yes. They were coming from Bihar, that means Ghazipur, and then they had no idea whatsoever that when you are riding in one way, in one direction, some other vehicle will come from another, and that was one of the reasons they were riding high. Though it was not justified, it was not okay for them to ride at that speed, but if they had one simple thing in mind, that another vehicle could also come from that particular road, I don't think they would be riding at this particular high speed, Shiv.
I mean, the fact is, considering how Indian highways and Indian roads are, that kind of speed is unacceptable under any circumstances. One is well informed. These gentlemen, these late persons are, from Bihar, not exactly the place that has the best roads. They are well aware of what roads are like in UP. And, they leave behind young families, Samarth. At the end of the day, this is a tragedy for the families. These men have been reckless. It is extremely sad that they are no longer on this earth, but their, few minutes of negligence, not taking into account the possibility of something like this happening so easily on an Indian highway where so many accidents happen every single day, they had no business going over the speed limit.
Totally agree with you, Shiv, because when you see the speedometer, and it's not the end of the story, they also live streamed that particular video on Facebook. Like, in a way, they were trying to tell others, the friends on social media, that yes, they are taking this particular speed to 230, because if you ride normal vehicle, then it's not possible to take the vehicle above 200 km per hour. But that was BMW, so that was a possibility, and that's what was happening in the car. But it is a tragic scenario for the families, because the doctor, he was a very well-known doctor in Bihar, and that's though he loved the vehicles, he loved owning the vehicles, he had a bike, something around 16 lakhs, though he was going to Lucknow for the servicing of BMW, what we have got from sources so far. But what this incident tells us is a kind of lesson, what we have been traveling to this particular expressway are reading, that you have to be like in present, you have to be like, as you just said, drunken drive, various other things. Diwali is coming. You see, the maximum rash driving happens in Diwali, Holi and festivals like Eid. So we have to be very, very crucial. We have to be very, very careful, because such incidents could be repeated anytime, anyhow. And when I'm reporting, you will see vehicles from behind me are running. I can estimate that they must be running above 100 kilometers per hour. And that's the caution where we have to think that such incidents must not be repeated. Be it this happens in Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, it remains same. The loss of lives have no answer to tell.
Terrible, terrible story, and our deepest condolences to the families of these 4 men, because it is them that has to bear this terrible loss and the questions that arise from this absolutely needless, pointless accident. 4 young men simply snuffed out because of their negligence. Thanks very much, Samat, for getting us that ground report.